interested in those years because of Jesse Hoover, his father. Jesse's shop sat about 75 feet to our east in the vacant lot. It faced to the east right on the street, and he worked there 1871 to 1878. Jesse was one of several blacksmiths in the community, so he advertised in the paper, shoeing horses and repairing plows were his specialties, and he was a part-time farm implement dealer. In 1878, he sold the shop, opened a store on Main Street, owned and operated that business. It was like a farm implement store of his day, larger building, and he owned and operated that business until his death in December of 1880. He was only 34, so still fairly young.
What did he die from?
The records indicate rheumatism of the heart and gastritis. In our terms today, that was probably congestive heart failure. And the gastritis, we know that it requires good blood supply, good blood flow or supply for digestion to occur adequately. So as his heart began to fail, that was something that probably also began to fail. But because it was probably painful for him, it was listed as a cause, but more than likely was a result of it. There's some indication that he wasn't feeling well as long as a year prior to selling the shop. There's also some indication that he might have had rheumatic or scarlet fever when he was a child. Yeah, so all those kind of lead us to some conclusions. History is a lot of assumptions. Try and base those assumptions on the best information we have possible. Up until this year, in fact, if you were to push the button in the barrel there, it would tell you that Jesse worked from 1871 to 1879. And I believe the recordings and the information that we had was based on first-person accounts. But our archivist, historian, went to the Tipton County the county courthouse in Tipton, and actually found the sale bill, handwritten plat bill, and it was 1878, a year earlier. So we're having to revise. So after all these years, we actually find documentary evidence of what really happened. So yeah, history does get revised because we get information that we didn't have before. And so it's like, oh, wait a minute, I got to change what I'm saying now. So that took some time.
So how'd you come about doing this?
Being a smith?
Making
Well, I was in the entertainment industry. I was a stagehand for 34 years. And I've been a woodworker for 36 years. I worked in props for a while. And as I was working, I'd be asked to build something. The designer wanted me to build something, and was irritated because get the piece of furniture built, and it was specific to a character perhaps in the play, but then have to go to the hardware store to get the hardware. That just didn't seem right somehow. So we're sticking average everyday hardware on a piece that we've made that's special, that's unique.
Sure.
And then I would manufacture pieces for myself. And again, the same thing. It's like I've built this piece, but now I've got to go buy somebody else's hardware. I wanted to take it one step further. So one of the things that I build is shaker furniture, and ironwork is part of the shaker experience. So
I actually worked for help building sets for a summer.
oh, okay.
My family did it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, while we were in college.
Mm-hmm.
We worked at the opera.
Whereabouts? Which?
Building set. IU.
Oh, at the university?
Yeah.
What years?
When I was doing it, let's see, my mom started it back in, let's see, the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay. I came. Well, actually. Okay. Who's your family?
Geyser.
Because I joined Hancher in '79, left in '82, and then came back and became actually head of electrics and props for the opera department in '88, '87, '88.
At IU?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Well, it was the stage designer was David and two gentlemen. One was David, and I can't remember.
Thayer?
What's that?
Thayer?
David Thayer.
He did lighting.
Indiana University or Iowa?
IU.
Oh,
You're
okay.
thinking Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking
Yeah, okay.
IU's different.
UI,
Yes,
not U
because-
of I, IU. Yeah.
Okay, because IU, this used to be known as IU.
Oh,
Yeah, it was the State University of Iowa, so it was University of
no,
Iowa.
this was Indiana University.
Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah.
yes, all right.
We're from Indiana.
Okay, gotcha.
Actually, I'm from Iowa now. I moved here a couple years ago. I live in Pella.
All right. Ah, yes, and the other U of I or IU.
Yeah. Indiana University as opposed to University of Iowa. But I didn't know they used to call it. They used to call it Iowa University.
Well, it was the State University of Iowa, and I've seen some records regarding the words being reversed, but of course it's Iowa State.
Yeah.
But yeah, Iowa University.
And I get it all confused.
Yeah, at one point I wanted to say that there was in its history Iowa University. I've come across some labeling like that. I can't tell you what years.
I remember when I was, when we moved to Indiana, back when I was a young boy, my family from Wisconsin was always, my cousins were always giving me a hard time because they said we didn't know we didn't even understand how to name the university. That's how backwards we were. And them being from Wisconsin and me being from Indiana, who was more backwards, I wasn't sure. You know, they are much different. So
Always rivals of some sort.
oh, there's always something.
Yep.
So, very interesting.
Great, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.